On this episode, I bust 11 credit report myths.
Turn up, let's go.
Welcome everyone to this episode of the Ask Jason Gelios show, episode 040. I really appreciate you guys tuning in to this episode. For those of you who don't know, this is a weekly show that I produce and upload every Thursday. I put it on YouTube and Facebook and various other social media platforms. So again, thanks for tuning in. Today I'm going to be sharing with you 11 credit report myths. So we're going to go ahead and dive into this so you don't miss out. So I put together 11 credit report myths that come from the various credit reporting agencies. And so this is huge because there are a lot of myths as to what affects your score, what drags it down, brings it up, things like that. So we're going to dispel some of these myths right now. Okay, so number one, debt is debt. Well, that's not always true. Okay, now what I mean by that is certain debts affect your credit score in different ways. For example, a mortgage will affect your score in a positive way, provided that you're paying it on time. However, if you go out and max out credit cards, then that's going to affect your score in a negative way. So I do believe that there is good debt and bad debt. As long as you're paying things on time, that will affect your score in a positive way. However, on the flip side, don't max out credit cards. Number two, checking your report will hurt your score. This is not entirely true. This is probably the biggest myth that I've seen when I was on the mortgage side. Is someone says, "Oh, you know, if I have too many inquiries, then my score will go down." Well, that's not always true. Okay, if you have inquiries that are in relation to, let's say, you shopping around for an auto loan or a mortgage loan, okay, then that's not going to affect it compared to, you know, if you are just constantly fully applying for applications all around. So, okay, that's myth number two. Myth number three is closing a credit card will help your score. Not always. If you have an open credit card and it's not maxed out, but you're maintaining it, let's say you use it one month and then pay it off after 30 days or whatnot, that would look better. Okay, so for example, let me actually dive into this deeper here. If I have 3 credit cards and 2 are maxed out and one's not, but I close the one that's not maxed out, now my credit report will look like, whoa, I'm maxed out on all my available non-secured credit cards. So closing a credit card is not always the best thing. Number 4, there is only a single credit score. Not true. There's actually 3 credit scores. You have 3 credit reporting agencies, and most of the time mortgage lenders will take all 3 and average it out. And if you have 2 people on a mortgage, then they will take both of those, average it out. So there's everybody has 3 credit scores. That's myth number 4. Myth number 5, credit bureaus give good and bad scores. So credit bureaus will gather information about you as far as your credit cards and whether you have applied for a loan or whatnot. And so there is a measure of risk, but there's no good and bad. There's a variation. So just know that it's not a black line. It's not a hard line. Actually, it's a gray area. So because some lenders might grade differently in terms of what rate they're going to offer you. So number 6, better job, better score. That's a myth. Your job usually does not affect your credit score. I have personally seen people who had great jobs and had horrible credit. So just know that that is definitely a myth, that a better job means a better score. Number 7, your credit score accounts for demographics. Credit reports don't list your income, so therefore they don't know personal, or rather, demographic information about you. Of course, they know your personal spending, right? Or rather, not personal spending, but they know what credit cards you have and stuff. But they don't know if you're white, African American, Asian. They don't know that. All they know is that you have these amount of accounts out there and loans and whatnot. So it's just a non-biased thing. Myth number 8: lovebirds or spouses, married couples, have a joint credit report. Nope, you have your own credit, you have your own scores, and therefore your scores are affected by what you do. Unless someone co-signs, which that particular loan will affect the other person. However, individuals have their own credit scores. So, all right, the last two here. Myth number 9 is paying debts erases them. No. If you pulled up your credit reports from all 3 agencies, you would see credit cards that you had maybe when you were younger, right? Or when you were first starting off. They may be closed, but it doesn't erase them. It doesn't just go away. Okay? It stays on there. It may not affect your score anymore. However, it's still there. So that was myth number 9. And myth number 10 is some person, some expert can fix your credit. While there are ways to, pay off things or whatever to boost your score fast, don't buy into these so-called experts that say, oh, I can get your score up 100 points within 7 days. It's just not true. You have to do the traditional things, use the traditional methods, okay, not maxing out your cards, not applying for, 10 different loans, okay, over the course of like 3 months. Okay, do the traditional things to help boost your score. So that was number 10. And the last one is your credit report or scores measures who you are as a person. I have never met somebody that had horrible credit and was a horrible person. Your credit score, your credit report, whatever, has no bearing on how good of a person you are. Okay. When we had the recession, and this is a little side note, when we had the recession, a lot of great people lost their jobs and they were faced with hardship, mainly foreclosures. And so does that make them a bad person? No, because a lot of people were hurt. Jobs went down, everything went down, okay? So it doesn't make you a worse person if your scores are not good. It just means that you have to focus more on the traditional things, like I said before, to help increase your score. So that is the top 11 myths about credit scores. That concludes episode 040 of the Ask Jason Gelios show. I really appreciate you guys tuning in. Be sure to subscribe and like and comment. And a lot of you private message me, and that's awesome. If you have a question for the show, definitely send that in or put it in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel, and also if you go on my website, it's allabouttherealestate.com. You can subscribe to my monthly newsletter, which is value packed. I'm not a big spammer. I'm all about providing value and tips that help you out, whether you hire me as your realtor or not. I just hope that you find value in this and you will like, share, comment, things like that. So that concludes this episode of 040. Thanks for watching. I'm Jason Gelios, realtor. Make it a great week.